Today we're doing 10-2, Practice Buddy Drake. Number 1, find the volume of rectangular prism. The volumes of rectangular prisms is length times width times height. So we're going to do 8 times 3 times 5. Now the commutative property of multiplication, it says we can multiply in any order. With that being said, I'm going to do 8 times 5 first. So 8 times 5 equals 40. My 8 and my 5 are gone. So now I need to take my 40 times 3, which is 120, which my answer is 120 yards cubed. And the reason why it's yards cubed, or yards to the third power, is that we have 3 of them. So yards times yards times yards is yards to the third power, or yards cubed. Question 2, find the volume of the rectangular prism. Again, length times width times height. So we're going to have 2 times 4 times 9. I'm going to do 4 times 2 first, which is 8. 9 times 8 is 72. So our answer is going to be 72. And this time it's going to be feet cubed, or feet to the third power. Number 3, find the volume of the rectangular prism. We have 11, 2, and 7. So it's 11 times 2 times 7. Well, I'm going to do 11 times 7 first. It really doesn't matter. 11 times 7 is 77. And then I need to take that times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Regroup my 1. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. So our answer is going to be 154. This time it is yards cubed. Again, this time we have 14, 9, and 9. So 14 times 9 times 9. I know 9 times 9 in my head. 9 times 9 is 81. So I'm going to take 81 times our 14. 4 times 1 is 4. 8 times 4 is 32. Put in your placeholder because we're shifting over to the 1, which is in the tens column. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 8 is 8. Add 4 and nothing. 2 and 1 is 3. 8 and 3 is 11. So our answer is 1,134 inches cubed. You do not have to put in the comma. I don't know if Savas takes off for putting in the comma. I'm not for sure. This one's a little bit different. This time we're just finding the expression. Again, the formula is length times width times height. We're finding the volume of this magnet. And so we have to do 3.5 times 0.25 times 0.75. Now, which one of these down here actually has that? Well, on mine, it's part D. I know they put the parentheses in there, but the parentheses just say that this particular person is going to take the 3.5 times the 0.25 first. They're going to get that answer because we have to do parentheses first, and then they're going to take it times 0.75. The other 3 do not work. Letter A, it only has 2 of the 3 numbers, so that doesn't work. Letters B and C, they have addition in there instead of multiplication, so B and C doesn't work on mine. Number 8. The front door of a house is 78 inches tall. What is the volume? Well, we have to scroll down, and they're going to give us the other two dimensions. The width is 32, and I'm sorry. The length is 32, the width is 2, and then the height is 78, which is up here at the top. So we have to do 32, 2, and 78 for the volume. Well, I'm going to do, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and do 78 times 2 first. 78 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. Regroup my 1. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. So that is 156. Now, I've already did the 78 into 2. So now I have to take the 156 times 32. I have some room right here. 156 times 32. 2 times 6 is 12. Regroup my 1. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Regroup my 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Put in my placeholder because I'm shifting over to the 3, which is in the tens column. 3 times 6 is 18. Regroup my 1. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. We're going to add these up. 2 and nothing is 2. 8 and 1 is 9. 3 and 6 is 9. 4 by itself is just 4. So for the answer for number 8, sorry, is going to be 4,992, and that is going to be inches cubed, because we took inches times inches times inches. For number 9, a bedroom door in the house has the same dimensions as the front door, but the length is 30 inches. How much greater is the volume of the front door than the bedroom door? Okay, so they're changing, if you look down here, they're changing this 32 to a 30. Well, what is the difference in 32 and 30? Well, 32 minus 30 is just 2 inches. So when we're dealing with volume, we have to figure out what the volume of that 2-inch change would be. Well, how do we do that? Well, we can just, instead of using this 32 or the new 30, we can use this 2, that's the difference. So we can say that this difference, that is 2, we can do 2 times 2 times 78, and that will tell us the difference in the volume. 2 times 2 times 78. Well, 2 times 2 times 78. 2 times 2 is 4. 78 times 4. 8, 16, 24, 32. 7, 14, 21, 28, plus 3 is 31. So how much bigger is the volume? It's 312 inches cubed. Now the other way you could have done it, we had the 4,992 from before. You could have taken 30 times 2 times 78, found out that answer, and then subtracted the 2. You would still get 312. But that's a lot more work in my opinion. All right, number 10. Let me erase that. The living room in the house has an area of 216 square feet and a width of 12 feet. What is the length of the room? All right, so they're switching it up this time. The key word in this problem is area. We're switching from volume to area. So area of a rectangle, area equals length times width. Well, what do we know? Well, they're telling us the total area is 216. And that equals something that we don't know times 12. We have to find that something that we don't know. Well, how do we find the missing number in a multiplication problem? Well, we do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we're going to take our 216 and divide it by the 12. How many times does 12 go into 21? One time. We subtract 21 minus 12. We can regroup. 11 minus 2 is 9. Bring down our 6. How many times does 12 go into 96? The answer is 8. 8 times 12 is 96. We're left with 0. So our answer is 18. Now, because it's the length, our label is just 18 feet. No cubes, no nothing, because it's just the length. A cube has a volume of 8 cubic meters. What is the length of the edge of the cube? Show how you found the answer. All right, so a cube, again, the volume equals length times width times height. We know the volume. The total volume in this problem is 8. So we have to figure out what the length, the width, and the height is. Well, if it's a cube, not a rectangular prism, but a cube, the length, the width, and the height all have to be the same. So what number can we put in all of these? The same number that when we multiply them equals 8. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So the length is 2 meters. Now down here, did we do 8 plus 8 plus 8? No. Did we do 8 times 8 times 8? No. The length of the cube, L, must be the equation 8 equals the length times the length times the length. So the length is, well, that is what we did. Now, we did length, width, height. They're saying length, 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 because on a cube, they're all the same. It's the same thing. But our answer is each one of those is 2 meters. Last one, number 8. This one we're figuring out which of these equations is true. We have a prism G and a prism H. I'm going to focus on G first. So up here I have 2 G answers. Well, to find the volume, we have to do 13 times 9 times 3 in some sort of order. Well, on G, is this 13 times 9 times 3? Yes. Again, all the parentheses says is they're going to do 13 times 9 first, get that answer, and take it times 3. All right, the second one for G is 13 plus 9 plus 3. Well, that doesn't work because they're adding instead of multiplying. Rectangular prism H, we have 16, 3, and 8. So we have to multiply 16 times 3 times 8 in some sort of order to get the answer. Well, is this 16 times 3 times 8? Nope, A is plus 8. That one doesn't work. 16 times 3 plus 8? Again, there's a plus in there. It doesn't work. 16 times 3 times 8? Yes, that one works. So for mine, my answers are B and E. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to submit this. And we did get 100 today. Good job, everybody.